The most played sport in America is cornhole. Who knew? The backyard game edges out bowling and swimming, according to a 2022 Ipsos poll. Sometimes known as beanbag toss, cornhole dates back to the 1960s, but has grown massively in the last few years. Brooke Silva-Braga has been looking into how it happened. Good morning to you, Brooke.
Good morning, Michelle. Okay, first some cornhole basics. Players throw 4 of these bags toward a wooden board with a hole cut out in the center. You get 1 point if it stays on the board, 3 if it goes in the hole, and these days, if you're good enough, you can get a college scholarship to do it.
For decades, cornhole has been the game you play on one side of a bar while the other side is line dancing. The game you play before going into a football stadium. The game you play before sleeping in a tent.
Took boards out while we were camping. We would have like little family tournaments.
Doug and Jennifer Heyman have run Bar Night Cornhole just outside Denver for years.
A lot of it is the people. It's really fun to be able to just get to drink beer and just hang out with your friends.
But cornhole is attempting an unlikely toss into the mainstream.
Goes way up top and hits it!
Turn on ESPN these days, or CBS Sports Network.
This is gonna be a fun one.
And you might spot Trey Ryder.
We had the first wave in 2017. We got on TV for the first time, and that was like, oh my gosh, we're on TV, like ESPN2 on a Saturday at 2 p.m. And then the pandemic hits a couple years later, and then we're like doom and gloom. We think the world is ending, and we were able to put on professional tournaments live on ESPN.
And gets them both to drop. What a shot.
And we were the only sport on television. The only sport that beat cornhole back on television in the pandemic was Korean baseball. That was it. The women's game is really interesting right now.
When he's not broadcasting, Ryder is the chief marketing officer of the ACL, or American Cornhole League, the biggest force in the game's corporate push. Today, more than $1 million in prize money is shared by 250 ACL pros. The top players make low 6 figures.
This is maybe my favorite story of the day.
But the game's biggest burst of publicity has shined on 2 amateurs.
Gavin Hammond and Jackson Remick.
With the head-scratching news of college scholarships
to play cornhole
being bestowed on a pair of Colorado teens.
We were just shocked. Wow.
It's too good of an opportunity not to take.
Yes, Gavin Heyman and Jackson Remick are getting not quite full scholarships to play cornhole at Winthrop University. That's a first. Gavin is Jen and Doug's son. He first grabbed a bag during those camping trips. Jackson started playing more recently when the pandemic shut down his baseball season. They started winning before they started shaving.
And I was like, okay, I kind of like that. I like beating up on these old dudes and like showing that the kids can win.
And you're playing against like adults drinking a Miller Lite or whatever.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
How did people treat you when you're the 13-year-old winning?
They would talk so much crap and all that, but
that's just how it is.
What did they say?
Go back to school, like all these like weak comebacks.
Yeah, very weak.
Mastery came from constant practice, made possible even in the Colorado winter by the conversion of the Heyman home into a cornhole court.
Whose idea was this?
Yeah, me.
Did it take some convincing of mom and dad?
Yeah, it took a little bit. He was like, I'm not letting my house be a cornhole house. I'm not letting people walk in the front. But I convinced him.
A couple out to the right. Can Dayton Weber take advantage here? Back two's going to be good.
Part of cornhole's appeal is the idea almost anyone can play and win. Dayton Weber may be the most striking example, but also consider the doubles team of Deborah Odom and Isabella Soprenin.
There's literally 50 years difference in our age.
Almost exactly.
Almost exactly.
Soprenin, now 17, turned pro at 13.
You don't say if you don't want, but do you mind me asking how much money you've made through these tournaments?
It's gotta be over 50 grand.
That's awesome.
Well, with sponsors, I would say maybe over 100.
Odom had been one of the world's top horseshoe players. An injury pushed her toward cornhole, which is easier on the body. Plus,
in horseshoes, there's no strategy. You just got to throw a ringer.
So roll or airmail?
Cornhole, believe it or not, has a lot of strategy.
Oh, this is the fast side.
Pro Ryan Smith explained how one side of the bag is made sticky, the other slick, allowing for different types of shots.
I'm going to try to throw a block and basically try to land it here and mess up your lane.
Those blocks lead to an array of responses.
Intentional block for Tony Smith.
It's a big part of what makes cornhole good TV.
He's got to complete the push, and he does, Jeff.
And a big part of Heyman and Remick's success.
Oh my goodness.
So that's the push.
Specifically, they've perfected a shot called the roll.
Oh, man.
Setting a block that stops their opponents from scoring.
We'll see if I can hit this roll.
But then expertly bouncing their own bag in.
I can see it's going.
Oh my God.
They are the best of the best when it comes to high school players.
Dusty Thompson is the guy who picked Gavin and Jackson for the first ever scholarships.
Most people put their opposite foot forward.
He's Winthrop University's new cornhole coach and a former pro.
You're coming up like this, and then when you're releasing, the pin should be facing that way.
Thompson is trying to copy what's been built down the hall at Winthrop, a big-time esports team. These are cheaper ways to get attention than a basketball or football program. And it's all part of a grander play by the ACL to build college and even high school competition across the country.
Tennessee with the win.
Not necessarily as part of the NCAA, but their own for-profit business. It's seeming less far-fetched by the day.
Would you like to play in college?
Yeah, I would. I'd go to Winthrop University and then try to go pro.
Okay, that's a goal.
Uh-huh.
Is cornhole a sport?
Oh, that's pretty.
Who's to say? But what game is more American than finding something people love and turning it into a business?
Almost everything now is branded, the bags, the boards.
We're going to play.
Okay.
Not regulation.
Yeah,
we know this. This is all we had room for.
Regulation is 27
Nice,
feet.
Michelle.
Yeah, now I go.
So this is Brooke and I versus Michelle and Dana.
Okay. Oh, look at this.
Nice, Michelle.
Okay, the number one tip I got from watching these guys, you want a flat bag. Yeah, you don't want it to spin. You want it to be almost like a Frisbee. And then once you're doing that, there's a lot
that's why you're kind of spinning.
I'm leaving everything short here. Michelle has me 3-0. Wait, I got one more, Jeff. Yeah.
Oh,
okay. Wait, so that's actually 0-0.
But net.
I didn't count how many landed on the board. Wait,
go ahead.
You had one?
No, go ahead.
No, I think we got 2 points here. Is anyone keeping score?
If I can't do this with heels on, they're coming off.
We know how Jeff spent Memorial Day.
Okay.
Jeff has these at home.
Come on,
So we have 4 at 4. Okay, so now we're
You're going down here.
Oh, beautiful.
Michelle, I'm the weak link. Sorry.
All right. We're scoring a lot. It's easy when the boards are like 8 feet apart.
Not my sport. You want to go play basketball?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I think we have 5. I don't know.
I think you guys are ahead 'cause I'm
love
weak
this. You
link.
can really get into this. I see that this is a good
So
time
many
had by
people
all.
I interviewed were like, oh, I used to play football. I used to play basketball. I can't do that as much now, but I can do this.
And cricket players and advocates believe this sport could take off just like soccer did 30 years ago when the FIFA World Cup came to the U.S. Just like soccer, cricket has a huge global following. It's the second most popular sport in the world, and this is its first big chance to be part of American culture.
2, 3.
It's an all-American scene. Kids cheering from the sidelines as their teammates go up to bat.
Go!
But this isn't a Little League game. This is cricket.
When I first started playing, my mom was like, girl, what are you doing?
13-year-old Jordan Hinkle-Walker had never even heard of the game until 3 years ago, when Coach Sham Chutu brought cricket to her Bowie, Maryland classroom.
I called up the principal and said, hey, I would like to come to the school during PE classes and do a cricket demo.
What was the reaction?
It was crazy. I mean, you would see they would get so excited, and you see their whole faces would light up.
Chutu grew up playing in Trinidad and has made it his mission to share the sport in America. When he moved here 30 years ago, the cricket community was small.
Back then, it was mainly the immigrant population were playing cricket. It was a fun way to get together.
Then when he had children, Chutu wanted to share this piece of his culture with them.
They would play basketball, soccer, baseball, but there was no cricket. And I said, well, why don't I start a cricket program here?
That program became the first elementary school cricket league in the country. Now, over a decade later,
we have 86 teams, more than 1,000 kids playing cricket.
The sport is exploding from coast to coast. USA Cricket says more than 400 leagues have opened in America, with over 200,000 players and counting.
It's truly a watershed moment for cricket in this country.
Cricket reporter Smit Patel says the pro game is growing too. Last year, Major League Cricket debuted in the U.S., and cricket will be featured at the 2028 Olympic Games in Los Angeles.
It's the second most played sport in the world. The potential is immense for cricket in America.
This week, for the first time, the United States is co-hosting and competing in the International Cricket Council's Men's T20 World Cup.
I believe the World Cup is going to act as a catalyst the same way the FIFA World Cup acted as a catalyst in 1994.
And Patel says America is ready for more cricket.
It's the fourth largest media market in the world for the ICC. I feel like it's a marriage made in heaven.
Now, with the world watching, these little cricketers can dream bigger than ever before.
Now I can say, you know what? You can be a professional cricket player. You can earn a living by playing in a Major League Cricket program here in the U.S. Nice job, guys.
And we have to talk about what happened this week. We saw Team USA beat powerhouse Pakistan. This is such a big deal. I mean, they're one of the biggest, best teams in the world. So it's huge. And I think it really marks what could be a turning point for the sport in this country.
And, you know, you look at these kids playing, and I think of soccer and go back 20 years here where we keep trying to build the sport here the way the world looks at it. That's how you have to start, with the young kids.
And now these kids can look at Team USA achieving this huge amount of success this week that was kind of unexpected.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people on Team USA. The guy who's the star bowler works at Oracle full time.
Wow.
Wild.
They have other jobs.
Just
They're doing
doesn't
something else. Yeah.
Just getting to know the rules, I think, and then it's like wide open.
Right.
Yeah, so huge amount of
Taking
potential
off.
for the sport here.
Yeah.
Very nice. Chanel, thank you.
Thank you.
There are more than 10 million residential swimming pools in the United States, and if one of them belongs to you, there are a couple of guys who might be willing to clean it for free, but there is a catch. Carter Evans has their story.
An empty swimming pool in Southern California is about as close as it gets to a personal skate park. But before these guys grind, they clean the grime.
So you actually come in and do the work?
Yes.
At your age?
Yeah. And a lot of times we'll do it for free, too.
Steve Alba is known as the godfather of pool skating. Now, 61 years old, he'll still clean your pool for free if you let him bring his board and his buddies. Fellow senior skater Ozzy Osbourne scans satellite images for squalid swimming pools, then does a door knock.
They oftentimes don't quite understand. You want to do what in the pool?
And to be honest with you, it started as kind of a joke. To be honest with you, to see if it would actually work.
And it did.
And it did work.
Decades later, they've perfected their pitch, which includes signing a liability waiver.
Oh!
Marlin.
And many homeowners are thrilled to get rid of the eyesore.
What was your pool like?
A third filled with a bunch of green slop because it was a duck pond.
But the skaters saw something different.
What makes a good pool?
Yeah.
The shape of the pool is one criteria. The surface of the pool, the plaster. The best pools to skateboard in are the pools that were made from 1950 to, say, 1977.
Yeah.
That 27-year window is just prime for us.
What's up here?
This is a filter box.
A filter box, which we call the death box, because if you actually go into it on the way down, you die. So you don't want to fall on that. So that's why we call it the death box. But
the death box is daunting.
Just try to stay low and keep your knees bent and just keep on your toes.
But let's be real. I was never gonna come close.
This is harder than it looks.
It's way harder. Every pool is different. Every wall is different. It's like this little puzzle that I have to figure out. It's like this Zen thing where I'm doing anything, I'm thinking about skateboarding, but when I'm skateboarding, I can't think of anything else. It's a very seductive place to be.
What we do here is one of the best things, in my opinion, you can do in skateboarding. And if you got any more empty pools versus skate, please send them my way.
Know.
For them, an empty pool is full of possibilities. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Carter Evans, Los Angeles.
We're going to introduce you to a sport that's been around for more than a century, but remains something of a mystery. It combines a bit of the Old West with some newfangled tricks on skis. Ever heard of skijoring? Janet Chamlian was among those in the dark before we sent her in search of a ride.
Go! It's the wildest winter sport you may never have heard of. Skijoring is an adrenaline-soaked blend of horses, riders, and skiers. racing through a short course packed with snow at top speed as the skier holds onto a rope for dear life, navigating jumps along the way. Cheering fans are inches from the action.
What's the attraction of skijoring?
There's not many opportunities you get to be literally feet away from a 1,200, 1,500 pound animal with rider on back pulling a skier at 40 miles an hour past your nose.
Duffy Council runs Leadville, Colorado's annual skijoring competition, one of the nation's oldest.
From the rider's first yell to the skier yelling, go, 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 go. I'm getting goosebumps right now. You can hear the crowd as a spectator like the wave from the start to the finish. It's tough to put into words.
Why haven't more people heard of it?
It may just be starting to grow its roots in pop culture America. You know, here in Leadville, it's been going on for 75 years.
For 10 of those years, Savannah McCarthy has been Leadville's reigning champ, winning her first skijoring competition at just 13 against a field of mostly men.
What's the attraction of skijoring?
I always wanted to be a jockey, but I'm a little bit too big to be a jockey. So this was like the closest thing I could get.
All right, you good?
There's just not a lot of other sports where you can just go full speed.
Challenge right now.
For McCarthy, it's a family affair. Her sister Jade competes, and her parents used to. Despite fame in the skijoring world, many in hers have no idea what it is.
I'm a broker at a financial firm, so
Really
nothing
different.
much different.
What do your coworkers think?
They definitely have never heard of it. Every time I bring it up, they're like, ski what?
Some host cities are heating up the challenge even more. In Montana, skiers race through fire as the snow flies. This is not for the faint of heart.
Oh, man.
Any injuries over the years?
I've had a few. I've had a broken nose. I've had a few concussions here and there. I landed on top of a minivan one time.
They call it skijoring.
Skijoring started in Nordic countries with reindeer as a way to get around. Skiers over the years found themselves behind motorcycles, cars,
The horse fell victim to the mechanical revolution.
even an aircraft or two, before the sport found its way to mountain towns here.
What does this mean to Leadville?
This is arguably the most iconic Wild West event that this town has ever seen.
Council no longer skijors, blaming 7 knee surgeries. His son Brennan has taken up the mantle while he ensures Leadville is ready. Savannah bravely allowed me on her championship horse Money,
You so got it. Awesome.
who would go on hours later to win Leadville once again.
Does it still bring the same adrenaline rush?
It does. It's never going to get old, I think, no matter how many times I do it. And you definitely feel like a bit of a celebrity. Kind of hard not to when you've got, like, 4,000 people watching you, cheering for you.
A mix of ski bum swagger and cowboy culture. The result, one epic ride. For CBS Saturday Morning, I'm Janet Shamlian in Leadville, Colorado.
No jet skiing.
I mean, it has flames, it has horses.
Yep.
I thought
has
Janet was
skis.
going to take off there for a minute. I was glad that she just was calmly walking
It
there.
never
Little trot.
ends well.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, it does.